Assalamu alaikum ji. Honorable Finance Minister, Mr. Mohammed Aurangzeb, a very warm welcome to PSX. I also warmly welcome all the CEOs, brokers, investors, PSX chairperson who could not be here in person but is with us here in Zoom, previous presidents and chairs and board members. Minister Saab, all the capital market stakeholders are represented here today. So on behalf of PSX, I would like to also extend our congratulations to you on assuming the office of the Finance Minister. And we are honored to welcome you and would like to thank you for prioritizing the capital markets and coming so early to PSX in your tenure as FM. Honorable Minister, as Harry was also mentioning, a country's stock market is the economic window for the world. It showcases the business and investment climate in a country, and a thriving capital market provides confidence to both domestic and foreign investors. As you know, all governments, you work globally, mashallah, all governments and regulators take necessary policy and tax measures to encourage the development and growth of the capital markets. And this is in order not just to firstly attract portfolio investment, but also it helps in attracting direct investment, while it also increases and channelizes domestic savings and channelizes investments towards the more productive sectors of the economy. And just to give you an example, at peak, PSX had around $9 billion of foreign portfolio investment. Right now, it's probably less than $1 billion. So there is a lot of opportunities for growth. However, to achieve this, Pakistan must continue to improve and deploy appropriate tax and regulatory policies to incentivize the growth of its capital markets. And these need to be well balanced, they need to be regionally competitive and provide long-term certainty to the investment environment. Minister, the stock market is one of the most documented sectors of the economy. And over the decades, the government has perhaps been the biggest beneficiary from it. Recently, in a matter of months, the value of GOP shareholding in PIA, for example, has gone up by over $500 million. This is a good example of the government undertaking reform of SOEs and the market recognizing and rewarding it immediately. So it is imperative for the growth of Pakistan's economy to create a conducive environment which will help to attract more companies and investors to the capital markets. And as you know, a broad-based market helps to achieve important economic and social objectives. It improves savings, investment rates, documentation of the economy, increasing the number of taxpayers, and reducing wealth inequality. Hence, developing the capital markets, we believe, is fully aligned with the government's objectives. And we look forward to working with you on the privatizations and share sales that are being contemplated. Executing them through the stock market will bring the necessary transparency, help in price discovery, and indeed grow the stock market. To achieve this, it is critical that we all work together to improve brand Pakistan and increase the size of our market on a war footing. At our present size, unfortunately, we cannot attract serious institutional investors. As a fully documented sector, Minister, we believe, and to be honest, we expect that we will be encouraged and rewarded for leading the field in documentation and transparency. Regrettably, it is often the opposite. There is now a KYC and tax-driven distortion amongst asset classes, which is detrimental to the efficient allocation of already very scarce resources in Pakistan. You know, the market deploys resources the most efficiently. We don't ask for any subsidies. So we would urge you to use the markets as much as possible for all purposes. So we would request you to review this and bring all asset classes to the same high standards of the capital markets. I'll share another example. Newly listed companies used to get a small tax credit for first 4 years of their listing. This was abruptly discontinued without any discussion or taking any feedback from PSX. And 2 years ago when this was done, we did a calculation and shared it with FBR at that time that the total tax impact of this credit was only 150 million rupees. And they had actually gained more tax revenue from capital gains tax on these newly listed companies, apart from the direct tax that these new listed companies and the supply chain, as it got documented, was going to pay. So this was a small incentive, which was a revenue positive, which was abruptly taken away. And as you know, almost 50% of direct taxes are paid by listed companies. So, Minister, all markets in the world need a sympathetic tax and regulatory regime till they reach a certain critical mass and size. We are not doing this effectively in Pakistan because, as you know, capital markets don't develop in isolation. They need a whole ecosystem to be nurtured. And important parts of Pakistan's financial sector remain very small. These includes not just the capital markets, the mutual funds industry, the insurance sector, pensions industry, alternative investments like REITs, PE, and the VC industry, which is non-existent in Pakistan. And the importance of these sectors for any modern economy is self-evident. And as you know, banks also need developed capital markets to thrive and grow. Mr. Saab, I would like to highlight that the reform agenda being pursued by you and the government, an independent and forward-looking SECP, strong PSX shareholders, a very strong board, technology, and abundant local liquidity have created a unique opportunity, perhaps for the first time in 70 years, for our capital markets to break through, grow, and play their due role in Pakistan's economic growth. This does require all stakeholders to work together in a supportive manner. So we look forward to your support and guidance in achieving this. I would like to share also that PSX and all our stakeholders, many of whom are present here, have worked very hard to modernize and make the capital markets accessible to all investors and issuers. But that's very important, that whether you're a small company, a small investor, a large company, a large investor, you should be able to access the capital market very easily. And I would like to acknowledge and thank the SECP and the PSX board, particularly the two chairs, for their support and guidance. It is work in progress, no doubt, but we have made significant progress in the last 2-3 years. Some of the achievement I'd just like to share for the record include, online account opening and greatly simplifying the account opening and AML process. For the first time, banks and capital markets are sharing KYC information. New products like simplified Sahulat accounts have been introduced. I believe just these 3 initiatives will be transformative in the coming years to grow the size of our investor base. And we are already seeing its impact and growth. We have introduced ETFs, which is the largest asset category in the world now. And 90-day futures have also been launched in line with international standards. We have worked hard to reopen the IPO window, which is very critical. Our capital markets are all about primary capital formation. And the IPO process has not only been simplified, but it's been fully automated at PSX. So there's complete transparency in that, and consultants and companies can share everything with us digitally now rather than having to send paper. And we have agreed a very aggressive timeline of 29 days with SECP for full implementation of an IPO. A new GEM board has been launched for smaller companies to raise capital. And in line with customer demand and government stated policy, PSX is focused on developing Islamic capital markets. And I'm happy to share that this has been recognized globally. And for 3 years running, PSX has been recognized as the best Islamic stock exchange by GIFA, the Global Islamic Finance Awards. I would just like to highlight in particular 2 achievements which I believe are very important. The implementation of the state-of-the-art new trading and surveillance system. This was the largest and most complex project in PSX's history and has brought PSX fully into the 21st century. This is a historic achievement and is a great example of collaboration between our Chinese partners and PSX. Sir, PSX is in fact a role model, as Mr. Yuhang also mentioned, for the next stage of development of CPEC and economic collaboration. Such collaboration is envisaged to be led by the corporate and private sector. We have 3 of the largest exchanges, not just in China, but globally, as partners. We must ensure that this model succeeds, as this will encourage other Chinese and international companies to invest in Pakistan. And we hope that the 3 Chinese exchanges will be investment ambassadors for Pakistan and China. PSX is also now one of the few exchanges in the world where government debt is directly auctioned and traded. This has met with huge success and has provided new investment opportunities for investors, diversified the investor base for the government, and has started reducing the borrowing costs for the government. I would like to acknowledge and thank the former Finance Minister, SECP Chair and Commissioner for the path-breaking steps taken to raise government debt from the capital markets. I know everyone here is keen to hear from you, so I will leave detailed recommendations for follow-up meetings with the Ministry of Finance, FBR and SECP, and inshallah on your next visit to PSX. I will only say, Minister, that capital markets don't ask for any concessions or subsidies. We only want a level playing field compared to other asset classes. Please give that to us along with some reasonable and consistent tax policies. And on behalf of all the capital market stakeholders here, I can commit that with your support, we will take PSX to its rightful place as a leading regional exchange, playing its due role in Pakistan's economic growth and a legacy that you and your government will be truly proud of. In conclusion, I would also like to acknowledge and highlight the expeditious signing of the SLA that you've undertook with the IMF. I think first time I saw that they signed it before leaving Islamabad, and the start of discussions in the next program. We understand the difficult economic decision that will need to be taken by your government and assure you of our full support in achieving your government's economic program and putting Pakistan on a sustainable path to progress. The markets believe in you and fully support the difficult decision that must be taken. As you can see, in response, the market is trading at record levels. Thank you for your patient hearing, and we look forward to your support in developing Pakistan's capital markets.